मैं तो आज सुबह दिल्ली से निकल चुका था, लेकिन अभी जो आंकड़े सामने आए हैं, वर्ष 2025-26 में भारत ने 7.7% की ग्रोथ रेट हासिल की है.
Just imagine that you are a student. Last semester you got 60 out of 100 marks in an exam. This semester you got 70 out of 100. What is the improvement? 10 marks. That's 16.7%. Now the teacher goes back and retroactively changes your last semester score to 50. So what is your improvement? Your improvement is now 20 marks. That is 40%. What happened? On papers, you now improved by 40%. But is that the reality? The reality is that your teacher, she just changed the denominator. This is what happened with India's GDP base year revision. The government revised its calculation of what India's GDP was in the base year. They reduced it by 11.67 lakh crore rupees. Now when you calculate the growth from a smaller base, what happens? The percentage growth looks larger. Even if the actual economy being added is identical, the percentage growth will be larger. Not just this, to calculate real GDP, you subtract inflation from nominal GDP. But what if you understate the inflation? This is what is now happening with India's GDP calculation. The inflation deflator being used is around 1 to 1.5%. Now just ask yourself, do you really think that the inflation in India hovers around that number? Did your rent increase by 1%? Did your school fee increase by 1%? Did the vegetables, fruits, milk, medicine, electricity, petrol, cooking oil, transport, did all of that increase by only 1%? No. Then how is economy's inflation magically only 1.5% when you have to calculate for real GDP? Even the government's own CPI data showed all India retail inflation was 3.48% in April 2026. Food inflation in April was 4.20%. I understand that GDP deflator is not the same as CPI. Technically, you can fool the public and this is what that is being done. Economists can come and say GDP deflator and CPI are different concepts. The question is, can they be this different for this long without raising serious questions? If you adjust the inflation deflator to a more realistic figure, real GDP growth in India over the last 2 years will dramatically fall to 4 to 5%. And if you also use the unrevised base year, the real GDP growth will further fall to less than 4%. And if you denominate all of this in US dollars and not in Indian rupee the way it has been done right now, this growth number will be less than 2%. You need to understand one thing. Foreign investors, they invest in dollars. They seek returns in dollars. That is how they compare should they invest in India or Vietnam or Indonesia or Mexico. India's rupee has depreciated approximately 10% against US dollars in past 1 year. If India's nominal GDP grew by 9% in rupee terms, a rupee fell by 10% against dollar. India's economy actually shrank in dollar terms. And that is a very, very, very major problem. Why? Because India is not the US. India is still a low per capita income country with a high growing population. We could easily increase this number with real data. But when the government harasses investors with endless taxations, GST rates, ED rates, squeeze ordinary citizens for every dime to fund their elections, then you actually destroy a country. Just imagine how much this country would have grown if there was more focus on actually rationalizing taxes, enhancing tourism, and not on just creating fake data, fake stories, fake degrees, and fake narratives. India is not collapsing because of Hindus or Muslims or BJP or Congress. It is collapsing because good people, they have stopped caring. Join the IAS, join media, engage in politics, raise your voice. If you cannot do that, at least support those who are raising their voice for you, or else we'll continue to live and die like cockroaches.